Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in the world listening, watching, gracing our presence with your presence by taking in our wonderful content. I am Mitchell Roulane of the Wrestling Diaries, the podcast show for the average Joe, where you find out that struggle is part of humanity and it is beautiful. You know, climbing to the top of the mountain is actually maybe the best part of getting up to the summit. So today, on our Spoken Word Sessions episode number 4, I'm going to touch base on romance a little bit. I'm not going to go really far into it. I wrote 2 poems that are, I guess, romantic, if you'd want to call it that. It's a reflection of me, and I don't want to think of myself as like a hopeless romantic per se. I've always liked to think I was a hopeful romantic, or maybe a hopelessly hopeful romantic. Through the years, I've learned that you get better through trial and error sometimes at the dismay of other people's hearts and feelings, and even your own. I've realized that from the very beginning, when I first started becoming romantically involved and dating people, that, you know, as time goes on, you know, you learn something more, and then sometimes you have to really, you know, eat a lot of crap before you can get to that point. And if any of my exes are watching, they'd probably be like, "Oh, he's so full of crap. Asshole. He's a piece of crap." I mean, yeah, really, if I'm being honest, I haven't always been the best in my romantic relationships. I've been very immature in the past, and I think that's what the beauty of growth is, right? As you get older, and if you really do grow, some people just stay exactly the same, but I've learned a lot from my past mistakes and past relationships, and, you know, I tried the best of my abilities, I guess, through those time frames. Maybe, probably not. But, I feel like I'm in a really good place now as far as the way I look at relationships and romance and love and all those kinds of things. And I wanted to ask people out there, anyone listening, how do you feel about yourself when it comes to romance? Do you think you are romantic? And you can send comments in. I mean, I know a lot of people probably won't, right? But I mean, so if you're just listening to this or watching it, then you can actually ask yourself right now, how do you feel about romance? How romantic are you? And how romantic can you be? And when I say romantic, I don't just mean necessarily with like love, relationship, romance, you know, but like about life. Like I'm a romancer of life. Like I little things mean a lot to me, and I take a lot of things probably that I shouldn't take more seriously just because I'm passionate about a lot of things. And so I'm a romancer of life. I know that sounds pretty cheesy and corny, but, you know, there's a purpose to it. This episode is for the ladies. I mean, or guys too. Hell, I mean, you could be for your Pomeranian. I don't care. But I wrote some poems. One poem in particular I wrote on a whim. It wasn't to anyone particularly. In fact, I think I wrote it when I was single. It's weird how some of the things that I've written, some of the literature that I've put out there, I've just created off of no inspiration at all. Well, obviously there's some inspiration somewhere, but not like an abundant amount of inspiration. And this is one of those poems. And then I wrote another poem which was specific for the love of my life, my lover. And so I think I'll probably go with the random one first. And it's called Intoxicating. My village, my whole world, they're all being cured from disease of poverty. It's poetry. It's sovereignty you have over thee. Aphrodite deemed me worthy of you, and the angels did sing a hymn of majesty. Magically make me move This groove grinds down into every grove you chose. I close mine eyes, and this heart explodes. Taste these lips upon this face, and face this bliss, such longing amiss. Hold hard and steady and hearty, and I'll grant thine wish. Wish master, I breathe deep, you breathe faster. Let's keep true, for I will give faith of certain hope, and never forget this prowl of desire, and birth a certificate of fire. From the start, flesh, blood, and skin, I sense your aura and you let me in. Then it all gets reversed and begins again. My lust is dangerous. It's fierce and fiery and cowers all your powers that be, and kills all the monsters that make you lonely. Wish master, you breathe deep, I breathe faster. And this groove grinds into all groves I chose. You close thine eyes, and your passion explodes. Woo! Anybody get hot and bothered by that? Is that pretentious for me to ask that? Yeah, that was a poem that I wrote, and I don't know. I guess I was alone, right? I was single, and I was all lovelorn. And people out there know what that feels like, I'm sure, from when you've been lonely, or if you are lonely now. And I think I was longing, because ever since I was a kid, I always had this like very, how like little girls usually they think about being like a little princess and like all the fairy tales and fables, and then the prince comes and sweeps her off her feet onto his majestic steed, and they gallop into the sunset. Like when I was a little boy, and people could make fun of me, and I know a lot of my guy friends probably will. I was that, but flip-flopped. I wanted to be the prince that swept in there and, swept the beautiful girl off of her feet and made her my princess, my queen, and all that stuff. This next poem I wrote for my actual fiancée, and this will be the last one, and then I'll bid you all farewell from the spoken word sessions here at the Wrestling Diaries. This one is called Fever. My temperature suffocates me. It sedates me in waves. It chisels away all my bravery and batters my heart. My left ventricle doesn't start. My lungs are burning, turning, and churning brimstone. I want to get you all alone and smother you in arms and undress your qualms and impress you to the best as I press against your breasts. Your breath ignites my fumes and finds my actions with lust and croons a song that brings forth spring flowers in an autumn bloom. I hold you nearer, dearer, my dear. This start will finish as I rule your body for me to leave a mark. With snark, euphoric feeling, your ecstasy hits the ceiling. This feeling, this morning, this night, it's right and births an unforgettable sight. Rite of passage and ride on. Too long for me to wait for your wonderful escape. So give me love in every moment I'm awake and push against my body until my fever breaks. So those were two poems I wrote when I was at a height of, romantic energy is what I'll call it. Anyways, in closing, I just want to say, I want to challenge everybody. Like, whatever you do in life, if the person you're with is really worth it, and if they're not worth it, then you shouldn't be with them, obviously. Or if it's somebody you're finding, think about the most romantic thing you've done. Think about the most romantic thing that you can do. Even something as small as, like, picking flowers on the side of the road is very meaningful. Like, that whole thing, that it's the thought that counts. I feel like that is a real thing. Like, when you put effort into something for someone, I feel like that stuff doesn't go unnoticed or unchecked, unless you're just with a complete monster. But I think it's really important, right, to keep up love and romance, not just with your partners in life, but just with everybody, You can be sweet with and romantic with people that you're not romantically or sexually involved with, right? By being sweet and doing kind things. You can be romantic to your mom and bring her flowers. Doesn't mean you want to sleep with her. I know, right? I just ruined this whole serious romantic show with a silly joke. But yeah, it's something to really think about. Hope you enjoyed those two poems, Intoxicating and Fever. And if you have any comments about any of this or want to share any romantic stories or exploits, let us know. Send us some stuff into the Wrestling Diaries, and we'll check it out. As always, what are you wrestling with in life, and how can you beat it? Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio Public, and a lot of other platforms that host podcasts. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Wrestling Diaries, for more content. One love.